Well, welcome everyone. We are so thrilled to have everyone here for our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander celebration here at the State House. So welcome everyone and thank you for being here. Woo! So I'm Yvonne. I'm our Secretary of Economic Development. It's a tremendous honor to be here with all of you and also to be part of this amazing Healey-Driscoll administration and really to be able to celebrate the diversity and all the progress and success and all the incredible culture and history of our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander community here in Massachusetts. So thank you all for being here. I am honored to be in the secretary position. I'm also honored today to be our MC for the program. So we have an action-packed program and I want to first get started with thanking a few special folks. So we are lucky in our state to have amazing AA and HPI legislators. So for all of our legislators, please raise. Woo! Thank you so much. We have awesome AA and HPI folks here in our state government team. So we have Undersecretary Kwan, we have Karen from HHS, we have many cabinet secretaries. Thank you so much for our state team being here. And I also want to especially call out our friends from our consulates. We have our consul generals from Korea and Taiwan, and we partner so well together. Thank you so much to our consulates for being here from Korea and Taiwan. So, and we have so many other incredible members. You know, everyone knows me. I talk about Team Massachusetts all the time. And we are an incredible team. We are the best team. And I look around the room, especially here in our AA and HPI community, we have the best team. Here in the room, we have Shirley Young from the Globe. We have our new CEO of the Boston Ballet. Where's Ming-Hui? Where is she? Our CEO of the Boston Ballet. We have people, CEOs from all kinds of awesome companies. A climate tech company called Envision, an awesome software company called Jellyfish. Andrew's here. We have folks from Wayfair. We have all of our community members, Danielle and QJ, and everyone here. Thank you so much for being part of Team Massachusetts, and we are the best team. And we have an awesome program for you today. We have some extremely cute performers who are going to be coming out to do a performance for us from an elementary school. And we also are going to be giving out some very well-deserved citations to some of the leaders in our community. And we have some remarks from our amazing governor, the leader of Team Massachusetts. Before we do all that, I thought I would just maybe take a moment to share some reflections on where we are as an AA and HPI community right now here today. And I thought I'd maybe just reflect a little bit on where our community is in context of the world, in context of our country, and also thinking about our community here in our state. And it's interesting times. When I think about our community in the context of the world, we were all here at this event exactly in this place a year ago. And since then, we now have in our world not one but two wars going on, both of them pretty terrible. And in the last year, we've had a lot more increasing rhetoric about being in a Cold War with China, which is the country where my parents and grandparents are from. And it's interesting times. And I want to just make a point that I heard someone make at an event recently that I think is a really important point to make as we think about the complexity and the challenges in our world. I was at an event recently where someone was making a speech talking about how China is our biggest competitor. And we have to worry and we have to compete and we have to fight against China. But then this person paused and said, it's really important, though, we make a distinction. When we talk about competing against China, we're talking about the Chinese Communist government. We're not talking about our Chinese Americans or AA and HPI community. We embrace and welcome everyone here as part of that community, and it's really important we make that distinction. And I just want to make sure we pause to take a moment because we are living in a crazy world, and we know that we haven't always been good at making that distinction. We know that in World War II, we took Japanese Americans, many of them who'd been in this country for multiple generations, who didn't even speak Japanese, and we took them out of their homes and put them into internment camps because we didn't make the distinction between Japanese people and Japanese Americans. And so as we think about the complexities of the world, I think it's really important that we pause for a moment and make sure we're clear about that. So the world is challenging and complex. So how are we doing in our country? How's our AA and HPI community doing? Well, you know, the good news is we are the fastest growing demographic in the country, which is awesome. And we have such a diversity in this community. But like the world, in our country, we have some challenges. So there's an organization called the Asian American Foundation, TAF. How many people here know TAF? Yeah. So they had their annual meeting a couple weeks ago in New York City, and actually Mayor Wu was there to represent us. And at that meeting, they published a report that they've done looking at the Asian American community. And what the report found was not great. We have work to do here in our country. So the report found that 60% of Asian Americans here have experienced in the last 12 months feelings of hatred directed at them, anti-Asian sentiments. And 30% of Asian Americans have experienced someone attacking them with a racial slur or verbal harassment. We should be doing better than that as a country. We also, the survey showed that Asian Americans are the demographic group, despite being the fastest growing, they're the demographic group that least feels like they belong in America. Only 40% of Asian American respondents said they feel like they belong. And when asked why that is, and it's lower than every other group, they said, well, we don't feel like we have enough representation, we don't see ourselves in leadership, and we don't feel like we belong. So we have work to do in our country. So how are we doing in our state? Well, of course, we're Massachusetts. We're doing way better because we lead in Massachusetts. And when we talk about representation, look at where we are in our state. We have our amazing legislators representing our community. We have amazing folks in state government. We have amazing people in this room. We have our amazing Mayor Wu. All of us are representing, and we are leading in Massachusetts. And top of that list is our governor and lieutenant governor, who care so deeply about diversity and who care so deeply about this community. So we're doing better in our state. Of course we are, because we're Team Massachusetts. But even in our state, we still have work to do. So QJ did a study last year of the Asian American businesses in Massachusetts, which, by the way, again, are growing faster than the average for businesses. So Asian American businesses in Massachusetts are a big economic growth driver. However, when we did the survey, QJ did the survey, the results were very clear. Asian American business owners feel less supported, feel like they have less access to grants, to technical assistance, to capital than any other group. So even here in our state, we have work to do. But of course, we're going to do that work because we're Massachusetts and we lead. So I just want to end. I want to end just on a personal reflection, and I think I mentioned this last year, but I feel incredibly lucky to be here. I mean, it's very improbable that my grandmothers had their feet bound in China, and my parents were born there, went to Taiwan, and came to the U.S., and they worked so hard and they sacrificed so much, like so many of you and so many of our families, because they believe in the American dream. And I am the product of the American dream. Now, we're living in a strange and complicated world, strange and complicated country. Sometimes I worry about the American dream. But you know what I really believe in? I believe in the Massachusetts dream. I believe in this team and all of you that we are going to continue to lead and do the right things for our AA and HPI community and for everyone. So thank you all so much for being here and for doing all the incredible work. We have a lot to celebrate and a lot more to do. And with that, I'm going to introduce our elementary school friends from the Josiah Quincy Elementary School in Chinatown to give a cultural performance. congratulations and thank you for the Josiah Quincy Elementary School from China. How awesome were they? Woo! I think I had to do that dance when I was younger, and I was not nearly as good as them. So it's not as easy as it looks. So now we want to make sure we have a chance to honor and to recognize some of our awesome leaders of our AA and HPI community. We're going to recognize 5 leaders here, and I'd like for each of them, when I call their name, to come up, and we will honor them with our citations. So the first up is Lydia Lowe. So, I'm just going to say a few, probably very embarrassing, but I'm going to say a few things about Lydia and how amazing she is. So she is the executive director of the Chinatown Community Land Trust. This is a very important organization which works in Boston, Chinatown, to make sure that we protect and strengthen and enhance the community. I've lived in a lot of cities. We are so lucky in our city to have such a vibrant Chinatown, thanks to Lydia and her work. She's also spent 4 decades working in our community, with co-launching the first immigrant worker center in the region, helping tenants preserve more than 1,000 units of affordable housing here in our state, securing bilingual ballots for Chinese and Vietnamese voters in Boston, and also leading the Chinese Progressive Association for 30 years. Lydia, thank you so much, and congratulations. We're so grateful to have you on our team. Okay, the next person needs no introduction. She is a legend, Helen Chinch-Slichty. Helen has been a trailblazer in our community for many, many decades, and she still has more energy. She is always the first person to respond to my emails. She is flawlessly at every event, early, and always with so much insight and perspectives. And she's been a very good friend to me personally. But she started as a fixture on Beacon Hill. She began her career there in the 1940s and ultimately worked for 12 governors. She rose to become one of the first Asian American women to achieve prominence in the public sector. And she has served as a mentor and strong supporter of so many of us. Thank you, thank you. She's also been active in the community, serving on many nonprofit boards across various causes, and she is the founder and supporter of South Cove Manor, which is such an important community for our Asian American elderly. We want to make sure we just get a chance to thank you, Auntie Helen, for all that you do. Congratulations. Okay, next up we have Paul Lee. This must be getting old for Paul. I was just at a big event with the Boston Bar, celebrating Paul with the Boston Bar Association, and he's done so much for our community. We're so thrilled to get to honor him. So Paul has been a champion for our community for many, many years. He was a lawyer at Goodwin Proctor, but also in his not so much free time, but at any moment he had, he was mentoring and supporting so many of us and so many of our causes. And Mayor Wu gave a very eloquent speech at the MFA talking about what a difference it made for her when she was a law school student. And you took the time to help her start her career in public service. And thank you, Paul. And also, my husband is here, and I know that when he first arrived in the city, you were the first person to call him and to welcome him to this community. So we know firsthand what you do. So let me just list off some of the other things. So you helped found and are the current chair of the Asian Community Fund at the Boston Foundation. You also support the Asian Business Empowerment Council, and both of these have played an essential role in supporting all of our businesses and community members. And you just received the Boston Bar Association Award for your leadership in diversity and inclusion. And in August of 2019, I didn't actually know this, you were named as one of the top 100 leaders across the National Association of Asian Americans, including alongside Maya Lin, Elaine Chow, and playwright David Henry Wong. So you're right up there with them, Paul. So they're lucky to be included with you. So Paul is a retired lawyer now, but still incredibly active. He's the board president for the Asian Community Development Corporation, and he continues to be very involved in his previous life and still involved in things like the Massachusetts Asian American Commission and also the Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence. Thank you so much, Paul. All right, so next up we have Jet Tran. Yay! So great to see you. Oh, so great to see you. Jet is the executive director of the Southeast Asian Coalition in Worcester. She is a refugee personally from Vietnam, and she has spent more than 30 years leading around diversity and the delivery of all kinds of services around public health and supporting the community. And she's now the director of integrated care at the Community Health Link. And she has been recognized by the Worcester Business Journal as a 40 under 40 rising star, and she has done so much for our community in Worcester and beyond. So thank you so much. Congratulations. Okay, and last but not least is Suzanne Lee. This must be getting old for Suzanne, too, because we honored you last year in Chinatown, I think, for something else. You are also a legend. Suzanne has worked in the Boston Public Schools for 35 years, first as a teacher and then later as a principal. But more than that, she's been a community leader for more than 3 decades, supporting all of our immigrant communities. She helped launch the first Chinese Parents Association, and she also worked with unemployed garment workers to secure our first bilingual training programs. She's also been the longtime leader and chair and founder of the Boston Chinese Progressive Association, a founding member of the Massachusetts Asian American Educators Association, and a member of the Massachusetts Advisory Council on Bilingual Education and the English Language Learners Task Force for the Boston Public Schools. She has done it all. We're so grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we do have the best team, and these leaders exemplify that. Congratulations, and thank you again for all that you've done for our Team Massachusetts and our AA and HPI community. With that, I'm going to hand it over to the captain of Team Massachusetts, our governor, to share some remarks.
Oh, thank you, Secretary Howe. Isn't she fantastic? We're so lucky. We're so lucky to have Secretary Howe leading economic development for the state. Sitting next to her today is another one of our colleagues, our Undersecretary of Public Safety, Gina Kwan, and they represent just some of what is fabulous about this team and this administration. We're so grateful to both of you, and we want to welcome everyone on behalf of the Lieutenant Governor and myself and our entire team. We want to welcome everyone today to the State House, to the People's House, as we celebrate Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month here in Massachusetts. It's special today to be joined by our Consul General Kim, our Director General Liao from the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, and all of the outstanding leaders who are here today. And I just want to, as a matter of privilege, invite up our colleagues from the legislature. We have with us Representative Taki Chan. Yeah, come on up. Representative Eiderhoven, come on up. Representative Wong. Who else is here? Representative Wen, come on up. Do we have Representative Howard? We have, great. And we might have Cambridge City Manager Wong here today as well. Terrific, great. Any other of our legislative colleagues, please come and join us. I just want to thank all of my colleagues in the legislature for the work that you do day in and day out to further good policies and good work for the residents of Massachusetts. And it's a privilege to be able to work with all of you. I know that we all join in congratulating our fabulous honorees today. You are all so special. Lydia, Helen, Paul, Suzanne, Tiet, thank you for what you do and what you represent to so many people. So many people have been so impacted by your work, by your care, by your curiosity, by your interest, by taking people under your wings over many, many years. And that is so powerful, and we honor you today for that and are so grateful to you for that. And speaking of gratitude, let's hear it for our wonderful performers from the Josiah Quincy Middle School. How about them? Their teachers, their family members. They've been working so hard, and they delivered. It was great. So this community that we celebrate today has made and continues to make Massachusetts stronger and better. This is a large community, a diverse community, and also one of our fastest growing communities in Massachusetts. It's Chinese American, Vietnamese American, Japanese American, Korean American, and so much more. We know that Asian Americans are leading across every industry, across every facet of our state and our country. And we would not be the successful state that we are and have the opportunities that we have were it not for all of you and your families and generations who've come before you. So we honor you today and thank you for your contributions. I know that Mayor Michelle Wu could not be here today, but we were together in Rome at the Vatican, some of you may have seen, for a major summit on climate change and resilience. It was amazing to be at an event together with global leaders who recognize that Massachusetts is a state and Boston is a city that is about leading the way forward. Now, so much of that leadership, from Mayor Wu to Secretary Howe to everybody in this room, is because of this community. Tracy Palangin's also here. She too was with us in Rome and at the Vatican. She's helping us through her company, Social Finance, a nonprofit that innovates social impact investing, to create a new partnership that's going to power us forward, bringing jobs in with climate technology, right? And being what we need to be to build the workforce to lead the clean energy revolution right here from Boston, right here from Massachusetts. And it's that kind of partnership, it's those kinds of bold steps that we have always been about. Massachusetts is a state. We are committed to making sure that we are welcoming, that we are inclusive, that we are equitable, and that we celebrate that richness in our communities every single day. But today is a special day where we have the opportunity to celebrate in a particularly special way the work of our AA-NHPI community. It is our strength. It is something that will continue to see Massachusetts forward. It is something that we are counting on from all of you to help us further, and know that we are just so grateful to you. So now is the moment in the program where we'll have an opportunity to go over and make official the signing here of the proclamation declaring this AA-NHPI Heritage Month. But know that while we're declaring this to be a particular month, I know I speak on behalf of all of us in the administration that this is something that we truly celebrate every single day, 365 days a year, here in the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So thank you all for coming out today.